The last time I gave a real life update was when I was sort of stabilizing after having a bit of a collapse moment. I had just uprooted my entire life. I was fully in survival, and I thought I'd give a little update. But before I get into it, if you're new here, hi, I'm Rose. On this channel, I talk about many different things from power dynamics to differentiation to sovereignty. And I do a lot of that by talking through my own life experiences and sharing stories, sometimes in more detail than others, and sometimes I just get right down to the point. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about where I'm at with things, give a real proper live update from the field. When I first got here, I had just differentiated from my family after living in Maryland with my parents. My mom really kind of like collapsing and throwing a fit when I stopped playing the role for her that I had always played. Pretty much immediately after that, I found this opportunity to come to this work exchange. If you're not familiar with the word differentiation, it's essentially distinguishing yourself from your environment or from a certain dynamic. So a lot of us learned to adapt to our environments or to certain dynamics. We play certain roles, we show up in a certain way, we become a certain person for someone or something. Coming to this work exchange was like being thrown into a new environment in this sort of commune environment. The host here, she owns the clinic, she also lives here. There are other people who live here and who come and go and work for her, and it's this big, complex, porous, enmeshed type of system where everybody plays many different roles. People fall into these sort of, or at least there's an expectation to fall into sort of this quasi-family sort of role, while also maybe take on more of like a domestic caretaker role and work in the office. It's exactly like my family ecosystem and many families, in the sense that if you don't give or speak in the language that everyone speaks here, which is really like a language of enmeshment, blurred boundaries, blurred lines and roles, then you are like kind of an outcast, you're kind of an outsider, maybe even framed as selfish or whatever. That's sort of the name of the game. And that was very similar to my family, my upbringing. I don't know for sure if I'm being perceived as selfish here, but I do sort of feel like that is the wound of being sovereign in environments like this, is being deeply misunderstood. In these environments, there's a lot of ambiguity, and ambiguity makes it so that there's these unclear sort of quiet expectations of you, of each other, but there's never really explicit consent. Everything is implied. There's a lot of guesswork, and there's a lot of bending and contorting to try to match people's expectations. So my task in coming here was going from this like real deep survival situation where I had very little resources, no immediate landing pad that I could see at the time, and this task to sort of like be who I am, create real structure in my environment to protect the integrity of who I am, my YouTube channel, like my growing career, just my life in general, while also protecting my safety and, sense of belonging in this environment that is my shelter. Those sound like competing things, right? In an environment like this, you're being pulled to blend, but at the same time, everything in me was pushing me to differentiate, make it known who you are. So that's been the arc. That's been this whole journey, is learning how to find enough safety, or at least navigate that growing intolerance of being something I'm not, or filling a role that I simply can't. It became so clear in my body just where the boundaries were and are. Like when I'd be asked to do something that my body was like viscerally, no, absolutely not. When you're driving and if you like stop paying attention, it like beeps when you get too close to the, what's it called? The barricade thing on the highway. It's like that. It's like, there's the barricade. Like, you know exactly where the walls are and where you're not even just not willing to go, but it's like a literal limit. I stopped negotiating with myself. I stopped questioning, should I answer? Should I make an exception this time? Should I blah, blah, blah? And eventually it just became no. This is not it. This is not me. This is not what I signed up for. This is not what I can offer. I stopped participating in sort of the blurred part of this environment. I stopped saying yes to things that, not just requests to do labor, for example, but also offerings, right? Because everything becomes this sort of blurred exchange where you don't know what's being given, what's being received. If you say yes to certain things, you're saying yes to everything. So that's what I started doing. I started becoming just really self-reliant, stopped participating in social dynamics and activities. I started to become much more aloof and independent, clearly having like my own life here. Like, I'm here in this physical space, I live here, but I've got my own system going. And just making that become a known thing where people stop expecting you to show up in certain ways. People stop expecting or looking to you to do certain things because you're not participating in that role anymore. Right around the time that I had this lock-in, and I am not lying, not before, I rediscovered something that I had completely forgotten about that ended up being my saving grace right now. Some money I had put away a while ago that I completely forgot about and was not keeping tabs on. It occurred to me that I had this money, and it is not money that I would have ever liked to access at this time, but it is money, and it is, you know, a situation that called for it. Now I'm at this point where I am just fully being myself here. I'm fully differentiated here. Usually it comes down to this, is like someone wants you to be something that you're not. And it's just simply saying like, I love who I am. I accept who I am. And I'm not only prepared for any consequences, but also excited about the possibility of other paths forward. Because I know being who I am and standing in my truth is moving my life forward. Just kind of letting the decision lie in the hands of the other person or the environment and just saying, this is who I am. This is what I bring. It's entirely up to you whether you want to make space for that in this environment or not. So yeah, this is where I'm at now. I've fully differentiated, and I'm ready to just sort of, you know, see whether or not she wants me to stay here or if she wants me to go. And if I leave, then I am likely, well, I know where I think I'm going to go. I don't want to reveal that too soon, but when I make that move, I'll definitely, obviously, keep you posted through this. If this is something you're navigating and you're looking for extra support, I did just recently start offering one-on-one sessions. I've dropped a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this community. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.